actually stretching after a run. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on and just say a couple of things. First of all, I look at getting back on here, finishing up the 100 days with Jesus very soon, getting back to a regular schedule, with school starting back, with kids going back to school. Forgive the shakiness. But anyway, I just wanted to say a quick thing about fitness, and I do plan on starting a fitness channel. Not that I'm the most fit person in the world, and I have the most to say about fitness, but still, I figure I have a few things to say. But I started a journey not long ago, and you can call me weird if you want to, of not doing gluten, at least as absolutely best I can. But from time to time, I still do it. So I've gotten back to running a mile a day, as many days as I can. And fact is, I mean, whatever we do, fitness, any of it, all of it, it needs to all be for the glory of God. If you're a follower of Jesus, you don't ever need to worship fitness, our health, our bodies. Worship anything but the Lord Jesus Christ himself, for those who are followers of Jesus. But I just wanted to say, as far as gluten goes, I mean, maybe you handle gluten just fine. And there again, I may just be a weirdo for not liking gluten. But I found back around the time of 2020, 2021, I'd had COVID. Not to say too much about that. My oldest son had it. Well, then it was my wife's turn and the others of us to get it, and they all got it. But contrary to what they said about natural immunity, my oldest son had a bit of natural immunity to it. That's just a fact. But still we're touched by it and still we're affected by it. But I prayed and I said, God, what can I do? Because I cut down my lactose, because I've always been watching my lactose for years now. But I still had not. My wife had stopped doing gluten for health reasons herself, just because she had some kind of diagnosis so many years ago that it turned out favorable to do without gluten. Well, I said, well, God, I've cut out all my lactose. I've turned up my vitamin C. I've turned up my hot tea. I've turned up my water intake. What else can I do to shake this stuff in my throat? I said, and well, God gave me, he's like, try cutting gluten. So I did. And I got rid of the stuff in my throat. And I really like my lactose, and I found that I can handle lactose a lot better if I cut my gluten. There's a lot of gluten-free ways to eat pizza, and that's one of my favorite things in the world. But yeah, every time I would eat gluten pizza, it would make me really sick because of both the gluten and the lactose. But what I was going to say, I got plenty of other things to say about any and all this and things related to this. But I did eat some gluten the other night. My wife made some really good things for our kids to enjoy. Well, I had decided I was going to enjoy it too. Well, it messed my running up the next morning for sure. Is the longest time I'd had since I really started back running. Well, then I go one day without gluten, and I get my best time. I get under 9.5 minutes this morning, which 48. It's not the best time in the world, but just one day without gluten. So anyway, pray about, I know we don't need to be legalistic about the things that we eat, and we don't need to go back to the, how would I say it, the Levitical diet in Leviticus and the Old Testament law. But I think we also should use wisdom and pray and ask God for wisdom. When wisdom is there for the taking, if we just ask him. There's so many things I think that God would tell us if we just ask him. And I'm not forcing this on anybody about gluten in and of itself. I'm just saying, as an example, we should pray and ask God about, I think, everything. At least as many things as we possibly can, and just ask his wisdom and ask his direction. And I'm not, the last thing I would do is get on here and say, well, thus saith the Lord, you shouldn't eat gluten. I'm not going to say that. But for me and my home, or at least me and my wife, we made a decision years ago that we, as little as possible, and it's been a real blessing. in a lot of ways. It helps the respiratory system a lot, helps all our systems a lot. It even helped me run and get my best record of the year so far. But anyway, hey, be blessed out there. Do everything you do to honor and glorify God. Those of you that know God and love him, do it all for his kingdom and for his glory. Don't just give your life to Jesus at one point in time. Live your life for Jesus every day of your life. And that's so important, because I think so many other people would give their lives to Jesus if we would just live our lives for Jesus every day. And everything matters to God. So the small things, the big things, there's nothing too small that it is too small that it doesn't matter to God. And there's nothing too big that he can't handle it. He can handle it all. Give everything to him. All right, we'll be blessed today. As I said, I do plan on getting on here and finishing up the 100 Days with Jesus that I'd started. But I had to take a break. I just had too many things going on where I couldn't. So, hey, be blessed. Be blessed in the Lord. Get into prayer and get into his word every day. All right.